You need to hear this because something just happened that nobody in the EV industry wants you to know about. Cummins, the company that has been building engines since before your grandparents were born, just dropped an engine so clean, so powerful, and so cheap to run that it makes billion-dollar electric truck startups look like science fair projects. I'm talking about an engine that produces 90% less emissions than current EPA standards, an engine that can go 750 miles on a single fill, an engine that major fleets like UPS, J.B. Hunt, and Werner are already fighting to get their hands on. And the craziest part? When you run this thing on renewable natural gas, it doesn't just reduce carbon, it goes carbon negative, as in, it removes more greenhouse gases from the atmosphere than it puts in. I'm not exaggerating, this is real, and it changes everything. This is unseen innovation. Let's get into it. Okay, so for the last 7 or 8 years, the entire trucking industry has been told one story. Electric is the future. Batteries are the answer. Diesel is dead. Every conference, every headline, every government mandate was pointing in one direction. Go electric or get left behind. And what happened? Nikola, the company that was supposed to be the Tesla of trucking, went bankrupt. I'm serious. Valued at $30 billion in 2020. Filed for Chapter 11 in February 2025. Their founder went to prison for fraud. They literally rolled a truck down a hill and filmed it pretending it was driving itself. You can't make this up. Fisker, bankrupt. Proterra, bankrupt. Lordstown Motors, bankrupt. Meanwhile, a Class 8 electric semi costs $400,000. A diesel costs $180,000. The electric one weighs 16,000 pounds more because of the battery pack alone. That's 16,000 pounds you can't use for cargo. It gets maybe 300 miles on a charge. A diesel gets 1,800, and there are fewer than 7,000 public fast chargers in the entire country, and most of them can't even handle a semi-truck. It's embarrassing. So, while the EV industry was burning through billions of dollars in investor cash and going bankrupt left and right, Cummins was quietly doing something nobody expected. They were building a 15-liter natural gas engine that just might be the most important thing to happen to trucking in 20 years. It's called the X15N. And when I tell you about this engine, you're going to wonder why nobody has been screaming about it from the rooftops. Let's start with power. 500 horsepower, 1,850 pound-feet of torque. Let me say that again, 1,850 pound-feet. That is diesel territory. That is the same grunt that moves 110,000 pounds of freight up a mountain pass in Colorado. Drivers who've tested it say it feels identical to driving a diesel. One trucker said if you blindfolded him and put him in the cab, he literally could not tell the difference. But here's the kicker. This thing weighs 500 pounds less than the Cummins diesel it's replacing. No diesel particulate filter, no selective catalytic reduction system, no diesel exhaust fluid. You know that blue DEF stuff you have to keep refilling on a diesel truck? Gone. The X15N uses a passive 3-way catalyst. Maintenance-free. Just drive. Range, 750 miles on a single fill of compressed natural gas. Bro, most electric semis can barely do 300 on a good day with a tailwind and no cargo. This thing does 750, hauling a full load. And refueling takes minutes, not hours, minutes. Okay, deep breath, because this is where it gets truly insane. The X15N's NOx and CO2 levels are both 90% below current EPA standards. It already meets the 2027 regulations that haven't even kicked in yet. This engine is so clean, it's making regulators look slow. But wait, I promised you something that sounds impossible. When you run this engine on renewable natural gas, which is biogas captured from dairy farms, landfills, and wastewater plants, the carbon intensity doesn't just go to zero, it goes negative. As in, 300% below zero in some cases. One dairy fleet is literally using methane from cow manure to make fuel that powers their trucks to deliver the milk. The cows make the fuel powers the truck. The truck delivers the product the cows made. It's a closed loop that actually cleans the atmosphere while it operates. From a California regulatory standpoint, this fuel is rated as carbon negative, meaning every mile driven is pulling greenhouse gases out of the environment. An electric truck plugged into the grid can't say that. A hydrogen fuel cell can't say that. Only RNG can say that. And here's the number that should make every EV company lose sleep. For every $100 million spent on government grants, investing in RNG trucks delivers 6 times more greenhouse gas reductions than the same money spent on electric trucks. 6 times, with 1,333 RNG trucks deployed versus just 357 electric trucks for the same budget. I'm not saying electric trucks are useless. I'm saying the math doesn't lie. Now, Cummins didn't just build one engine and call it a day. That would be too easy. They built something called the Helm platform. Higher efficiency, lower emissions, multiple fuels, and the genius of it is absurdly simple. Below the head gasket, every engine on the platform shares the same base components, same block, same fundamental architecture. Above the head gasket, you swap out the fuel system depending on what you want to run. Natural gas today with the X15N, advanced diesel with the 2027 X15, and hydrogen with the upcoming X15H. That means a fleet can buy X15N trucks right now, start cutting emissions immediately, and when hydrogen infrastructure matures in 5 to 10 years, their mechanics already know the engine. The parts catalog is familiar. The service network doesn't change. You don't have to retrain a single technician. Meanwhile, if you bought electric trucks, your mechanics need entirely new certifications. Your depot needs a multi-million-dollar electrical upgrade. You need charging infrastructure that doesn't exist. And if the company that made your truck goes bankrupt, like Nikola, you're stuck with a $400,000 paperweight and no replacement parts. It's devastating when you think about it. This isn't some prototype sitting in a lab. Over 50,000 of these engines are already running globally. More than 2.5 billion miles logged. In North America, the biggest fleets in the country are buying them and coming back for seconds and thirds within the first year. UPS runs them in Salt Lake City, where 92% of their package fleet now operates on renewable natural gas. Waste Management has displaced 110 million gallons of diesel per year using natural gas across 14,000 trucks, saving nearly $94 million annually on fuel alone. Werner, J.B. Hunt, and Kleisen Group are all in. Peterbilt, Kenworth, and Freightliner are all offering trucks with the X15N right now. You can order one today. And the payback period? 2.5 to 3 years. After that, it's pure savings. Lower fuel costs, simpler maintenance, no DEF, no complex after-treatment systems. Meanwhile, an electric Class 8 semi needs government subsidies just to get the sticker price within shouting distance of competitive. And even then, the infrastructure isn't ready. Why doesn't anyone talk about this? Why is this not front-page news? I'll tell you why. Because it's not sexy. It's not a sleek battery pack with a touchscreen. It's not a Silicon Valley pitch deck. It's a 15-liter engine from Indiana that just works. And that scares the EV narrative more than any bankruptcy filing ever could. Let me zoom out for a second. The trucking industry moves 72% of all freight in America. 4 million Class 8 trucks on the road. This isn't some niche hobby. This is the backbone of the economy. And the idea that we were going to flip a switch and electrify all of it overnight was always a fantasy. Cummins understood that. They didn't chase hype. They didn't go public through a SPAC and blow through $30 billion in market cap. They spent 6 years in R&D, ran 40,000 hours of dyno testing, put 6 million miles of on-road validation under their belt, and then quietly started delivering an engine that solves real problems for real fleets right now. Not in 2030. Not when the charging network exists. Not when battery costs come down. Right now. That's not a threat to the EV industry. That's a wake-up call. So here's my question. If you ran a trucking fleet and you had to choose today between a $400,000 electric semi with 300 miles of range, no charging infrastructure, and a company that might not exist in 5 years, or a $180,000 natural gas truck with 750 miles of range, carbon-negative fuel, and the backing of a 106-year-old company with service centers everywhere, Which one are you picking? Be honest. Drop it in the comments. If this blew your mind even a little bit, smash that like button. It helps the algorithm know we need more content like this. Subscribe if you want to keep seeing the stuff the mainstream automotive media refuses to cover. I'm out. Peace.